Dynamics 365 Integration Services, connecting D365 to your entire tech stack. Hey, welcome! In this video, we're breaking down Dynamics 365 Integration Services, connecting D365 to your entire tech stack. Let's get into it. Now, next up, what are Dynamics 365 Integration Services? Dynamics 365 Integration Services cover the technical and consulting work required to connect D365 modules to systems outside the Microsoft platform, and to other Microsoft services like Azure, Power Platform, and SharePoint. The goal is a single version of truth, customer records, financial data, and operational metrics that stay consistent whether you're looking at D365, your data warehouse, or a Power BI report. According to Microsoft's Dynamics 365 integration documentation, the platform supports hundreds of out-of-the-box connectors. But most enterprise environments still require custom API work, middleware configuration, or Azure Service Bus routing to handle real-world data complexity. Configuration means adjusting D365's built-in behavior, adding custom fields, defining workflows, setting security roles. Integration means making D365 exchange data with external systems. Confusing the two is one of the most common scoping mistakes we see. A Dynamics 365 consulting services engagement should always assess both dimensions before producing a project estimate, because integration work is where cost and timeline overruns tend to hide. Let's talk about next up, core integration scenarios for Dynamics 365. The right integration pattern depends on what you're connecting and how frequently data needs to move. Here are the scenarios our team handles most often in Dynamics 365 integration services engagements. When a business runs both D365 sales and a separate ERP, the integration question is, which system owns which data, and in which direction does it flow? For most organizations, CRM owns the customer relationship record and the ERP owns the transaction record. The integration layer syncs account data, pricing, and order status bidirectionally, with conflict resolution rules for scenarios where both systems update a record simultaneously. This is where Dynamics 365 customization work often becomes substantial. Standard Dataverse connectors handle simple field mappings, but business rules and exception handling typically need custom logic built on top of the connector layer. Let's talk about now, how does Dynamics 365 integration work technically? The technical architecture behind Dynamics 365 integration services has evolved significantly since Microsoft moved to Dataverse as the universal data layer across all D365 applications. Microsoft Dataverse is the underlying data platform shared by all D365 modules. When you integrate an external system with D365, you're writing to and reading from Dataverse tables via OData APIs, webhooks, or Azure Service Bus. This architecture has a direct practical implication. If an integration writes unvalidated data into Dataverse, it corrupts every D365 module that reads those tables. Good Dynamics 365 integration services work includes schema validation, duplicate detection rules, and rollback mechanisms that lower budget implementations often skip entirely. For large-scale or regulated deployments, Azure Integration Services provides the full enterprise integration stack, API management, logic apps, Service Bus, and Event Grid. This is the architecture used in financial services, healthcare, and logistics environments where message ordering, guaranteed delivery, and audit trails are non-negotiable requirements. Next up, Dynamics 365 CRM implementation costs and integration timelines. CRM implementation cost is one of the first questions every project sponsor asks, and the honest answer is that integration complexity is usually the single biggest variable in the final budget number. A basic D365 sales deployment with no external integrations can go live in 6 to 8 weeks for under $30,000. Add a single ERP integration, and you're looking at 3 to 5 additional months and $40,000 to $80,000 more depending on data model complexity and the quality of the source system's APIs. Key cost drivers in Dynamics 365 integration services work. Let's talk about now, how to choose a Dynamics 365 implementation partner. Choosing the wrong Dynamics 365 implementation partner is more expensive than choosing a more expensive one. Partner quality determines not just whether the integration works at launch, but whether it stays working as your business changes over time. Microsoft Solutions partner designations are a minimum bar, not a quality guarantee. Within the Dynamics 365 designation, look for specialization in the specific module you're deploying. A partner strong in Business Central may have limited depth in customer service or field service. More useful signals: ask for a list of integrations they've built, the industries they serve, and references from clients with similar integration scope. For detailed evaluation criteria, see Dynamics 365 Implementation Partner, 10-point checklist to evaluate and choose. The most common red flag: a partner who scopes the D365 configuration work thoroughly but gives a vague estimate for integration. That depends on the API is not an acceptable answer at the proposal stage. A competent partner will assess the source system's API quality, data model, and authentication method before committing to a number. Let's talk about moving on to D365 Finance and Operations versus Business Central, integration differences. D365 Business Central is designed for SMBs with 10 to 300 users. Finance and Operations targets enterprises with 300 plus users. This distinction matters for integration planning because the two products have different API surfaces, data models, and middleware requirements. Business Central works well for Dynamics 365 for small business scenarios where integration needs are moderate, connecting to an e-commerce platform, syncing with a payroll system, or feeding data into Power BI. The BC API is REST-based and well-documented, and many integrations can be built through standard connectors in Power Automate or Logic apps. Working with a qualified Dynamics 365 Business Central partner matters most when you're integrating BC with industry-specific vertical software, where custom extensions to the BC data model are often required alongside the integration work itself. Next up, moving on to Dynamics 365 versus Salesforce, integration ecosystem comparison. For organizations deciding between platforms, Dynamics 365 versus Salesforce is often determined by the existing tech stack, not the CRM feature set alone. If your organization already runs Azure, Microsoft 365, Teams, and Power Platform, the integration effort required for D365 is dramatically lower than Salesforce. Connecting Salesforce to Azure services, Teams, or SharePoint requires third-party middleware that adds cost and a new failure point. With D365, those connections are native. Salesforce has a broader app exchange marketplace for industry-specific applications. But according to Gartner's CRM market analysis, Microsoft's advantage in the enterprise segment comes specifically from its integrated ecosystem, a single vendor for productivity, data platform, analytics, and CRM. That integration advantage is material when you're building a connected tech stack rather than deploying a standalone CRM tool. We cover the full feature and cost comparison in Dynamics 365 versus Salesforce, which CRM wins for Microsoft first businesses. Next up, Dynamics 365 migration services and connecting your new stack safely. Dynamics 365 migration services is where integration and migration overlap. When you move from Salesforce, a legacy Dynamics CRM version, or a custom-built system, you're not just moving data. You're rebuilding integrations, rewriting business logic, and retraining users at the same time. The scenarios our team handles most frequently. The highest risk in any Dynamics 365 migration services engagement is data quality. Source systems accumulate years of duplicates, incomplete records, and structural inconsistencies. A migration that moves dirty data into D365 degrades every downstream integration from day one. Now, next up, conclusion. Dynamics 365 integration services determine whether your D365 investment delivers its promised ROI or sits underutilized while teams export CSVs and reconcile spreadsheets manually. The platform is capable. The integration layer is where most projects succeed or struggle. Getting it right means choosing a Dynamics 365 implementation partner with specific integration experience, not just configuration depth. It means planning for data quality remediation, real-time versus batch data flow decisions, and enterprise middleware requirements before the project starts. And it means understanding that Dynamics 365 customization decisions made during implementation lock in the integration architecture for years to come. Q Services has delivered 500 plus D365 integration and implementation projects since 2014 across healthcare, logistics, financial services, and manufacturing. If you're scoping a new implementation or trying to stabilize one that's already been delivered, contact our team to discuss your specific integration requirements.